We've heard that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but this is ridiculous. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 copycat TV cartoons. For this list, we're ranking animated cartoon shows that were obviously inspired by earlier successful series. Cartoons from all decades and genres will be considered, including copycats that originated from the same company as the cartoon being copied. Additionally, although we usually exclude anime from lists like these, we're going to allow certain widely viewed series in North America for consideration.
What's with the ruckus, G?
Number 10. Digimon Digital Monsters, also known as Digimon Adventure, copy of Pokémon.
And I've got this little pink thing following me everywhere. It is me, Mojimon, at your service. Anybody want lunch?
What do you call a series that follows a group of young kids and their unique monster companions as they battle other similarly crazy-looking creatures in the traditional anime style? Well, you'd probably call it Pokémon, but this first copycat on our list also fits that description. The world of Digimon arrived on the scene only 2 years after the Pokémon animated series, with Digimon Adventure debuting in Japan in March of 1999.
Just what do you think you're doing?
I'm glad we never hear you complaining.
You people make me crazy.
This early incarnation of the franchise lasted 54 episodes, but the public's interest didn't end there, as the world of Digimon continues to be extremely popular with fans young and old around the world.
Matt, you were so awesome against that monster!
You think so?
You know, you were the man.
And you're the wolf man.
Number 9. American Dragon Jake Long, copy of Danny Phantom.
Dragging up, yo!
There's a bit of debate online as to whether or not American Dragon Jake Long is an exact copycat of the hit Nickelodeon series Danny Phantom, but one thing's for sure, both series have their passionate defenders. To be honest, both cartoons feature young protagonists who lead pretty fantastic double lives, with Danny Phantom accidentally gaining the supernatural powers of a ghost, while Jake Long comes from a long line of human-dragon hybrids.
If I didn't know any better, I'd swear you were following me.
Well, maybe I am.
Well, maybe you should stop.
Maybe you should chill.
There's a ton of adventure and charm in both shows, and the fans of each will probably argue to death about their subtle differences. In our eyes, though, American Dragon definitely owes at least a small creative debt to the Phantom.
How is it that I have the ghost powers and you're the weird kid?
Number 8. Yogi's Space Race, copy of Wacky Races.
While the pink raced ahead in the lead, the others were being lowered into a fiery kettle of no-good-nick stew.
If there's one thing we've learned from years of watching way too many cartoons, it's that creators love taking a successful premise, setting it in space, and somehow calling it original content. Yogi's Space Race was just such a show, a late 70s cartoon that copied wholesale the plot of Wacky Races from a decade earlier, only with an interstellar backdrop.
The clock is counting down. 3, 2, 1, blast off!
Whereas Wacky Races featured specific characters like Penelope Pitstop and Dick Dastardly cruising around to see who the wackiest racer was, Yogi's Space Race substituted well-known Hanna-Barbera names like Yogi Bear, Huckleberry Hound, and Jabberjaw into the mix. The end results were certainly fun, but original? Not on your life.
The racers are hung up in a clover leaf. They may never get out.
Exactly as I planned it. Right, Muttley?
Number 7. Silverhawks, copy of Thundercats.
Call him back. The green button.
Okay, remember that space thing we just talked about? That concept fits just perfectly over our next cartoon copycat, the shameless, star-set Thundercats ripoff, Silverhawks. Both shows featured Japanese animation by the Pacific Animation Corporation, and both were distributed by the production company Rankin Bass. Those involved specifically created Silverhawks as basically a new Thundercats, just set in space.
Go, Tallyhawk! Cameras on!
So does this mean Silverhawks sucked? Not at all, actually, as the show featured a similarly high level of animation quality, fun storylines, and a bitchin' theme song, which many fans can still sing to this day. That's gotta count for something, right?
Wings of silver, birds of steel, Silverhawks.
Number 6. Galtar and the Golden Lance, copy of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
The name is Galtar.
If you want the Golden Lance, come and get it.
Hanna-Barbera was looking for a slice of that sweet, sweet He-Man money when they released this obvious cash grab back in 1985. Galtar and the Golden Lance followed a similarly macho protagonist with a very badass main weapon as he and his crew protected a colorful fantasy world from the forces of evil.
Fight, Galtar!
Although lacking a bit of the unintentional comedy that has since gone on to define its Masters of the Universe counterpart, Galtar and the Golden Lance nevertheless possessed all of the imaginative animated tools to make it a minor hit with the Saturday morning cartoon set.
The water! It's boiling! No, it's freezing cold.
Number 5. Challenge of the GoBots, copy of the Transformers.
And soon the People's Republic will belong to me, along with the rest of this puny planet.
Okay, here's a fun fact. The GoBots toy line actually edged out the Transformers by a little less than a year when they debuted in Japan in 1983. This doesn't change the fact that the animated series Challenge of the GoBots was clearly indebted to the success of the Transformers cartoon, which had already gained serious steam as the latest Saturday morning obsession. Despite the fact that they both premiered in the same month, the GoBots show was viewed largely by the public as a cheap imitation of Optimus Prime and Company, without even a special Autobot or Decepticon-esque seal to differentiate hero from villain. Today, these transforming robots from Gobatron are perhaps better suited as a cartoon trivia answer than the Animation Hall of Fame.
I want those renegades stopped!
Number 4. Street Sharks, copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Street Sharks!
You've all heard of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but are you aware of all their various copycats? No? Well, there were a lot of them, from biker mice from Mars to street sharks. Yup, it seemed as if every species was given their chance to become mutated and fight crime, and these sharp-toothed sharks were no exception.
Then there's only one thing to do. You're right. It's time we got to the bottom of this mystery.
The street sharks were 4 brothers whose DNA was spliced with those of various sharks by their father's evil partner, Dr. Paradigm, who, naturally, seeks the sharks' destruction. This basic premise is nowhere near as charming as the Turtles, and the street sharks only mustered a 3-season run before they were canceled.
Sharks only. This time, ready, Jab? It's shark diving time!
Number 3. Goober and the Ghost Chasers, copy of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?
Went from Ghost Chasers magazine and oh no, he's gone again.
There were a number of Scooby-Doo ripoffs produced by the Hanna-Barbera team after the runaway success of that titular Great Dane and his friends. Some have stood the test of time. Jabberjaw, anyone? While others have been relegated to the also-ran annals of cartoon history. Goober and the Ghost Chasers was one such series, which followed the usual team of teens who investigated supernatural mysteries alongside their talking dog, Goober.
I wouldn't be caught dead under a sheet with a ghost like that.
Although there were some major differences between this show and Scooby-Doo, such as the existence of real ghosts the team had to outwit, this wasn't enough to Goober any more than 16 episodes.
A galloping ghost!
Number 2. Snorks, copy of The Smurfs.
This ought to be good.
If you've ever watched an episode of The Smurfs and thought to yourself, hey, this would be a lot better if it were set underwater, well, then you probably watched Snorks too. That's pretty much the gist of this Hanna-Barbera series. But it's not all bad news, as Snorks is a bit more fondly remembered than other cartoons on this list.
Darling, stop staging me.
Maybe it's the colorful animation, the likable characters, or the quality voice acting on display, but Snorks earned enough positive response to garner 4 seasons on the air. So it was doing something right.
Here goes. Keep your snorks crossed. It's working!
All right!
Not quite at the end yet. Almost there though. Just be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Alright, back to business. Number 1. Coconut Fred's Fruit Salad Island, copy of SpongeBob SquarePants.
Hey, Bingo! I'm open for fun! And I have lots of great ideas sloshing around in my head. Slosh, 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 slosh.
Rob Paulsen is a legend in the animation industry, having voiced characters from iconic franchises across the board, including Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Animaniacs, as well as Corky from the aforementioned Snorks. So, when even he is claiming that a show he worked on was derivative, fans can probably take his sentiments to heart.
Hey, Slip and Slide. Hey, Bunga. I have a plan for today, and I want you to guess what it is.
Coconut Fred's Fruit Salad Island was the cartoon in question, a shameless riff on SpongeBob SquarePants that featured a manic talking coconut and his kooky friends getting into mischief. Thankfully, the Kids WB show only mustered 2 very short seasons before it was canceled.
Please leave. Go away. No!
Okay, Mr. G.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.